Have you ever lain down at night, pulled the blanket up to your chin, stared at the ceiling, and wondered quietly to yourself, is this it? Is this all there is to me? To this day? To this life? That ache in your chest that doesn't come from heartbreak, but from something deeper. The kind of ache that feels like a question no one is answering. Maybe tonight you're not tired from what you did, but from what you felt. Perhaps the silence in your room isn't peaceful at all. Maybe it feels too loud, too echoing, too sharp like a mirror, reflecting everything you've avoided all day. I know, that kind of silence can be deafening. And maybe you feel lost, not because you've wandered far, but because you don't recognize who you are anymore. It's strange, isn't it? How we can move through the hours, respond to messages, perform our tasks, nod when others talk, laugh at the right moments, and still feel invisible when the lights go out. Maybe that's where you are tonight. Not in deep crisis, but just feeling misplaced. Like a soul that doesn't have a map anymore and is too tired to ask for one. You might be surrounded by people who love you, but still feel completely unknown in places that matter most. Or perhaps you're just weighed down by this persistent sense of drifting, like you refloating through life rather than living it. And maybe, just maybe, you're lying in bed tonight hoping for a whisper from God, a signal, a sign, something, anything to say, I see you, I'm still here, there's still more for you. Because lost doesn't always mean away from God. Sometimes lost means I've walked so fast, worked so hard, performed for so long, I didn't realize I was bleeding until I sat still. Sometimes being lost feels like trying to be everything to everyone and suddenly realizing you don't know who you are to yourself. The questions sneak up on you. Am I enough? Does this effort matter? Is anyone holding me while I have everything else? Suppose you've ever felt that, even for a second, then tonight is for you. Not tomorrow. Not next Sunday at church. Not after you put your life together. Tonight. In your rawness. In your questions. In the place between productivity and collapse. This very moment, God is meeting you at your soul level. And He's not coming to fix you. He's coming to sit beside you like the safest presence, offering not answers, but arms. This prayer is not about solving. It's about being seen, being known, and being found ... again. So before we delve into the scriptures, before we make any lofty spiritual declarations, let's pause and tell the truth. You're tired, but not just sleepy. Your spirit has known too many battles, some of which you've never spoken out loud. There are names you think about that still sting, choices you regret but can't undo, and questions about your worth tied up in silent comparisons and memory reels. And I want you to know, God is not absent in that mess. He's not watching from the sky, waiting for you to fix it all before coming close. He's already here, in this very breath, in the pounding of your heart, in the visible and invisible ache. Maybe you feel like you're just too much, too emotional, too needy, too messy, or perhaps you feel like you're not enough, not spiritual enough, not consistent enough, not strong enough. But none of that scares Him. He doesn't measure you like the world does. He doesn't hold a checklist while you pray. His presence is not performance-based. And tonight, more than a polished prayer, what He wants most is your honesty, your surrender, your presence. So take a deep breath. Not a shallow one, but a slow, sacred inhale. And as you breathe, let your shoulders drop. Let your soul begin to soften. Let the armor crack. You've carried so much, haven't you? Responsibilities, emotions, expectations. The need to be okay for everyone else. The pressure to keep smiling because falling apart might make others uncomfortable. And yet, here you are, quietly unraveling without making a sound. But tonight, you don't have to hold it all together. You never had to. You are allowed to fall apart in the arms of a Savior who never expected you to be anything more than exactly what you are. human, hurting, and his. Let's ask the real questions now, not the rehearsed ones. God, is it possible you still see me when I feel like I've disappeared? Is it possible to be found, even if I feel like I don't know how to ask for help anymore? Can you really cover even this? This weight I can't describe. This fog I can't explain. This weariness I can't shake. I don't need an explanation tonight, Lord. I just need to not be alone in the wondering. That's it. That's the prayer. I don't want to figure it all out. I just want to rest in the grace that doesn't require me to have it figured out. And so tonight begins not with confidence, but with permission. The kind that lets you be real. The kind that says lost doesn't mean unloved. Confused doesn't mean abandoned. Quiet doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. If you made it to this moment, to these words, to this prayer, then maybe heaven itself has orchestrated this divine pause just for your soul to remember something it forgot in all the noise. You are seen. You are known. You are not forgotten. Not for 1 second. His eyes never wandered. His hands never let go. And this is the beginning of being found again. Let your heart speak now. Not in eloquence, just in truth. Whisper it if you have to. God, I am tired, and I feel lost. I don't even know what to say beyond that. However, I believe you're close, and I hope you'll meet me in this. Help me feel that. Help me believe it again. I don't know how this night will end, but I pray it begins with you. And he's already responding, not in thunder, not in miracles, but in this very moment, under the quiet of your ceiling fan, with the sound of your heartbeat reminding you that you're still here, still breathing, still deeply, beautifully connected to the hands that made you. You don't have to find your way back tonight. You just have to let yourself be held here. Let the searching end in surrender. Let this be the turning of your soul toward peace, however gently, however slowly. Welcome to your sacred space. This is only the beginning. Somewhere deep within you, far beneath productivity and prayer lists, far beyond to-dos and titles, breathes this longing you can't name. It's not ambition. It's not a desire. It's not even healing. It's something else. You want to be found, not discovered by others, not applauded for your efforts, just found in the sense that someone sees you fully, completely, and still stays. Someone who sees past the layers you've built, the strength you force, the patterns you repeat, and simply says, I know. I love you. I'm not leaving. That's what every soul searches for. Not perfect outcomes, but perfect presence. And tonight, your heart may be wandering, not because you have no direction, but because you've been trying to guide yourself. And it's exhausting. This constant self-navigation, this relentless climb through unknowns has worn your spirit thin. Maybe that is what lostness really is. Not darkness, but disconnection. Disconnected from God, from yourself, from peace, from truth, from the gentleness you used to hold, from the laughter that used to come easily, from the joy that didn't need a reason. Have you noticed how you've been performing healing instead of receiving it? Pretending breakthroughs instead of allowing them? Trying to say the right words in prayer instead of collapsing into the truth behind them? This isn't an accusation. It's God's gentle invitation to pause the pressure and pursue something deeper. Not results, not answers, just Him. And here's the surprising truth. What your soul is searching for isn't far away. It's proximity. That's all. Not a new job. Not social acceptance. Not even stability. It's presence. Divine presence. The same voice that called you before the chaos. The same eyes that watched you while you cried quietly in a bathroom stall. The same heart that beat for you, even as yours was breaking. That's what your soul misses. That's what you've been searching for all along. It's easy to mistake momentum for purpose, to confuse busyness with progress. But what if tonight, in this holy hush, God is stripping away the noise, the performance, the pressure, not to punish you, but to call you back into communion. Think about it. You've been walking through days full of activity, but empty of meaning. You've answered texts, but not prayers. You've responded to the needs of others, but neglected your own. You've said yes when your body was crying no. You've pushed through pain because survival became your default setting. And now your heart beats with a rhythm you don't even recognize. But God does. He sees the misalignment, not to condemn, but to realign. That confusion you feel, it's not your truth. It's your soul crying out for order in the chaos. That restlessness, it's not a weakness. It's the consequence of living far from stillness. The ache, it's the echo of divine design saying, come back, come home to your heart, come back to peace. You weren't made to carry the world and call it obedience. You weren't made to hustle endlessly and name it holy. You weren't designed to be stretched thin and still smile so people wouldn't worry. You were made for rhythm, for grace, for moments like this. Moments where the breath you take becomes sacred, where silence becomes invitation, where surrender becomes strength. So let's be honest now. What are you running toward? What are you trying to prove? Who are you hoping will clap for you, see you, approve of you? Even now, lying in the safety of your bed, what image of perfection are you still trying to uphold? And why does failure frighten you so much, even in private? God already knows what you're defending, what you're hiding, what you buried so deep you've stopped noticing it's there. But grace digs gently. The Spirit doesn't invade, He invites. And right now, this very moment, He is whispering something simple and profound. You don't have to search anymore. Find me instead. This is the miracle. He meets us in lostness, not after we find our way home. He walks into the wilderness and builds temples in deserts. He turns tired nights into sacred meetings. And He does it not because we earned it, but because He's faithful. So what's the real goal tonight? It's not to wake up with all the answers. It's not to cry a little, whisper a prayer, and bounce back like nothing happened. It's not to feel fixed. The goal, the only goal, is to let yourself be seen and surrender to the one who never left. The one who walked with you not just in miracles, but in mundane hours when you felt most invisible. Maybe the point of tonight is not to solve your direction, but to reconnect your heart. Maybe God is doing something more important than restoring your joy. Perhaps He's resetting your compass. I'm telling you again, the real destination is me. Not the future, not the dream, not the answer. Me, my love, my nearness, my voice in your midnight hour. So draw near, even if all you have left is the tired whisper of help me. Even if your hands feel too weak to reach, even if your mind is foggy, your prayer is messy, and your belief is shaky. Draw near anyway, because He isn't asking for clarity. He's asking for closeness. He's not impressed by strength. He's moved by surrender. Remember His word, seek me, and you will find me, when you seek me with all your heart, not with all your perfection. All your heart, that sprawling, aching, unraveling heart. That's the map. That's the goal. That's the invitation. And tonight, heaven's arms are open, waiting not for your polished self, but for your present one. If you're still holding your feelings in check, if you're still trying to tidy your soul before letting God in, let this be your permission to stop. His love is not reserved for your best moments. His presence is not allergic to your broken ones. He is not disappointed in your ache. He's drawn to it. Before we move forward, let's take a moment to reflect on this. Maybe the goal isn't to be found after all. Perhaps it's to realize you were never truly lost, just distracted, just drained, just distanced from the embrace of a Father who never stopped waiting. When you're ready, let's keep walking, together. No rush, no pressure, no pretending, just presence, just surrender, just grace. It's okay if you still feel uncertain. It's okay if even now, a part of you is whispering, I still feel far away. There's no shame in feeling that way, because maybe being lost isn't the absence of direction. Perhaps it's the presence of longing. Not a mistake, but a signal. A sign that your heart is awake, still reaching, still hoping. That longing you feel? It's sacred, because it means there's something within you that still believes, that still desires God, even in the silence, even in the sadness, even in the stretch. You've come this far, through nights that felt endless, through mornings that felt meaningless, through days where your light dimmed a little more. So don't let tonight be measured by clarity. Let it be measured by courage. The courage to pause, to stay, to open the door when everything in you wants to numb the noise. You didn't tune into a prayer like this because you figured it all out. You came looking for peace. And the truth is, peace isn't found when everything is fixed. It comes when we choose presence over panic, when we let go of needing to control and finally surrender to being cared for. He's been leading you, not the way you thought, not through lightning bolts or burning bushes, but softly, like a whisper through the trees, like the sigh after a long cry, like the silence that holds instead of explains. His leadership looks like closed doors that protected you, like rerouted plans that eventually brought you closer to the truth, like that unshakable instinct to keep breathing even when life didn't make sense. You are never alone. You were never abandoned. You were just being led through seasons, through silence, through sorrow. You see, God's path is almost never a straight line, but it is sacred. And every step you took, tired, angry, bitter, confused, was seen and cherished and counted. Every tear you cried, while no one knew you were breaking inside, was cradled by the hands of a gentle Father who doesn't need you to be strong to call you his. You don't have to be certain to be covered. You don't have to be healed to be held. The beauty of grace is that it meets you exactly where you are and walks with you gently toward where you are meant to be. And what if being lost was never about losing your way, but about losing what was never meant to stay? A version of you that had outgrown its purpose. A vision that was born from fear, not faith. A life so full of noise, it left no room for God's whisper. Sometimes, the most loving thing he can do is let everything that's not rooted in him fall apart. So all that remains is what's real. Him, his love, his presence, his truth. There's freedom in losing what was never truly you. Maybe that's what this season has been. Not a punishment, but a pruning. Not darkness, but direction. Not distance, but divine detour. A moment where God stopped your striving so that he could shepherd your soul back into rhythm, back into remembrance, back into a relationship. And tonight, he gently turns your head. Not forcefully, not urgently, just lovingly, as if to say, look again. Look at what I carried you through. Look at what didn't break you. Notice how I remained when others walked away. Look at how I waited, not demanding your perfection, just your return. You thought you were wandering, but I was walking with you the entire time. Can you let yourself believe that the one who made you is closer now than he's ever been? The moment you said, I feel lost, he answered, I've never left. That's when your soul said, I'm tired of carrying this. Heaven whispered, then give it to me. That when you felt forgotten, you were actually being watched with divine attention. Every moment, every breath, every ache. You're not broken for feeling lost. You're breaking through. So now, wrap yourself in this truth. Not as a doctrine, not as a sermon, but as a covering. Place it over your heart like a blanket. I am seen. I am led. I am loved. I am not alone. Say it again, softer this time. I am not alone. Let this be your sacred declaration tonight. And even when you don't feel it, you are held. That even when your direction feels blurred, your identity is secure. That even if nothing changes tomorrow, you are no less cherished tonight. Write this on the doorpost of your soul. It is okay if I don't know where I'm going, as long as I know who is going with me. And He is. He still is. So breathe. Lay your fears down, not because they're gone, but because He's got them. Lay your guilt down, not because you earned forgiveness, but because grace was never based on you achieving it. Lay your plans down, not because they were wrong, but because something better is being born. Something less about control and more about communion. And now, silence. Not empty silence. Holy silence. The kind where walls soften and souls exhale. The kind where tears become worship and vulnerability becomes victory. The kind where heaven bends low, not to fix you, but to feel you. God isn't rushing you tonight. He's resting with you. No pressure, no performance, just presence. Let your hands unclench. Let your eyelids soften. Let this holy surrender touch the deepest tired place in you. You're not lost, beloved. You're being led. Before anything else, pause. Not just your movements, but your soul. Let this stillness speak. Let it linger for just a few more sacred seconds. You don't need to rush away. There is nowhere more important to be than here. Inside this moment where love finds you still breathing, still trying, still believing ... even if quietly, even if barely. You've walked through the depths of honesty tonight. You've let your questions whisper without shame. You've noticed the ache instead of numbing it away. You've offered that quiet cry, I feel lost, and in return, you've heard heaven say, then let me find you. That is no small thing. So tonight, before you silence your phone, before you turn off the light and roll onto your side, I want you to do one last soul act. I want you to open your hands, physically if you can, symbolically if you must, palms up, unclenched fists, relaxed heart. Let God see the surrender in your posture, not to show strength, but to express trust. You have tried to carry too much, for too long. It's time now. Whisper, I give it to you, Lord. Say it again, then again, slowly, gently, sincerely. I give you what I cannot fix. I give you who I cannot change. I give you the weight of outcomes I've obsessed over. I give you the fear of not being enough. I give you the part of me still afraid of being abandoned. I give it all, not so I can escape it, but so you can redeem it. And here is the sacred promise. He won't waste a single part of what you hand over. Not the shattered dreams, not the stupid mistakes, not the days you almost quit. He will use it all, shape it all, anoint it all, until even your lostness becomes holy ground others will stand on and say, if God could carry them, maybe He can carry me too. Because He will, He is. You are not too far gone. You are not too complicated. You do not waffle around too much in your thoughts. You do not pray too inconsistently. You are not a burden. You are not a disappointment. You are deeply, irrevocably, eternally loved. Let that love do the final work now. Let it wrap around your chest like a protective blanket. Let it drip into the dry places of your soul like cool living water. Let it echo through every memory tonight that dared to bring it up. Let it sit beside your fears until they start to dissolve. And if you feel something unexplainable, a lump in your throat, a few blurry tears, a stillness so deep you don't want to move, know this, it is not just emotion. It's presence, it's spirit. It's the sound of salvation not needing ceremony, just sincerity. If this prayer has found you in your emptiness, let it fill you now. Let it become a resting place you return to when you forget, when you're tired, when you feel the ache rising again. Sacred places live in simple moments like this. If this prayer spoke to any part of your heart, I invite you now to declare it in the softest, boldest way you can say with faith or whisper with hope, God, I give it to you, God. Write it down in the comments, not just for the algorithm, but for your soul to remember that your surrender was recorded in heaven, that your release was real. And if you feel led, and only if it feels sincere, share your testimony too. Just one line, one moment, one memory where God showed up. You never know how your story might be someone else's strength. This isn't about being polished. This is about being present. And here, in this growing circle of weary hearts and sacred prayers, you are not alone. If you don't have the strength tonight to say all that, then just say one line. Thank you for meeting me here. That is enough, truly. And when you wake tomorrow, and you will, by grace, open your eyes not searching for stress or looking for updates, but whispering, I'm not lost anymore. I'm being led. If this story, this prayer, met you where you are, I welcome you to join this sacred space of consistent comfort. Shine Light was made for nights like this and souls like yours. So whenever you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, too much, not enough, or just quietly aching ... you always have a place to come back to. And until you return, may you sleep in peace. May you dream with courage. May you rise with quiet joy. And remember, you are never out of sight, never out of reach, never unloved. In this very moment, in this very breath, you are being held by the God who never lets go. Amen.